here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired. Altcoins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more sauce.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
So whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Welcome back, everybody. It's RT here for Hxro Labs on Hxro Labs Live on Fridays to wrap up the week. Seems my camera's like flickering. I don't know what that's all about. Come on, Logitech, what are you doing? So, anyways, we'll figure that out. Internet feed looks to be good, though. I think we were using Restream and going through to a few feeds. I cut one of them, and since then, we're 100%. So, not to jinx it or anything, but here we are. Bitcoin, big daily throwback. Down to 60,000 support. We'll take a look at that, talk about what it means. Look at altcoins, check out the Bitcoin dominance. And, you know, you guys can check it in the chat. I see Joe Grove is here, low to high. We've got TE and Stefan Gilbert. Good to see you guys. Okay, wow. Yeah, so, yeah, we're going to do everything I can, Steven, to avoid rugging the stream, obviously. Now, for those of you, maybe I'll wait till there's more people here, but there was quite a little fellow who once shared his SoundCloud with me, and he said, you guys can use this, copyright free music, get some nice tunes in there, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But at the time, didn't really matter, copyright or no copyright, so I've been just doing my own jams for a little bit, and more recently, decided we're going to go copyright free. So, anybody who has a SoundCloud, ideally some like lo-fi beats, stuff like that, if you'd like to, hop in and shoot me those in DM on Twitter, or if you maybe just have a good SoundCloud that, you know, we can have permission to play. I'd like to get some beats back on the stream, but for today, we are exactly where we are, musicless. But it's all good because we've got charts. I've got some water. And there's an interesting thing happening in the market today that you know, I think a lot of people are going to be kind of thrown for a loop, myself included. A very good thing, actually, that's happening in the market right now. Now, we've had a very strong move on Bitcoin. And really, markets like to move in, you know, harmonics, really fun little part of TA. And this was almost a perfect ABCD move. So it makes sense that Bitcoin kind of paused where it did. And so you take that first move, you just measure it, copy it over, and really that gives us level up here. You can see we kind of tagged it, came down. And so having a little bit of resistance here makes a lot of sense. Obviously, all-time highs as well. There's going to be a lot of people sitting up here looking too short. If not, you know, for the long haul, the midterm, whatever, if nothing else, just to like squeeze out the late fluff in the market. Now you look at that and you think, oh no, Bitcoin's dumping. That must mean the market's dumping. We're down about 10% off the highs, but in fact, the market, for the most part, what I'm seeing, is looking pretty good. We've got AVAX confirming bullish market structure the other day and getting a pretty strong move today. I mean, that is 4 straight green days for AVAX. Going back to Bitcoin, you can see really we're onto our second red day. So there is an inconsistency there, and it's a bullish one. And it suggests that there's a strong appetite in the market still, or, you know, still, I mean, in general, for altcoins. Another one I noticed today making new highs is FTM. And yeah, look at that. So, I mean, this is really good for the market, right? Because the best case scenario, I think for everyone involved, and this only happens, you know, once in a blue moon, maybe happened, I don't even know, twice since I've been in crypto in about 4 years. And that is when altcoins trend up versus Bitcoin, while Bitcoin moves up versus USD. That's rocket fuel. You know, that's where you get the insanity, the 100Xs, all that stuff. Now, I can't say for sure if we're there. I think a lot of BTC pairs have a ton of work to do. Let's pull up AVAX. This is one I'm watching closely. As you guys know, I'm a big fan. Like, that's not an uptrend, right? On the daily, it's just trending down. But it's showing a strong impulse. The bulls are kind of waking up. And so there's a little bit of work that has to be done here, but it's the start of something really nice. So I think we could be headed into an environment where Bitcoin pairs are rallying while Bitcoin rallies. It's not like it will, and we are, but it's like that's what today looks like. It's hinting at that. So I'm not buying AVAX here. I'm not trading Bitcoin to get my AVAX here. But as we come down and we make that kind of low, you come up, you want to get that higher low and then break that midpoint. So it looks like the midpoint could be in for today. Wherever that higher low ends up being, there might be a trade there if I want to risk to these lows and just get in there with like a little local reload zone. And that's a simple fib tool that I like to use. And you can put it on all kinds of scales. So you see I have a big one on the chart here, kind of painted. Well, actually the high obviously was back here, but let's see. Right, like at the time this was relevant. The high of the move was here. So, this reload zone gives me an idea of where I might want to get value in the market. Well, they also work on lower time frames, zooming in. And oftentimes I notice that when you get these reversals, the higher low comes in right in these levels, right as Bitcoin starts ripping again. And everyone's like, oh my God, run for the exits. Now, look, personally, I'd be sitting here usually and be like, oh yeah, let's get down into this reload zone. And then I'm going to be interested. But if we get a reversal up here, obviously, it is what it is. That's the retrace I got. And so I'm back long. So I am hunting a couple levels. This is kind of the local PCZ. This is the local RLZ. Two interesting levels where we could come in and put in a higher low in the next few days. And that's versus Bitcoin. Because if I'm going to trade away, in this case, Bitcoin for AVAX, it better be trending up versus Bitcoin. I don't really care what it's doing versus USD if that's what I'm going to use to buy it. If I'm going to buy it with USD, in many ways, I could just ignore this chart altogether. And then you get into the debate about, who's the fastest horse? You're trying to finesse the market. Just, if you're bullish on AVAX over $100, just take it. But that's how I'm looking at it right now. And so if these higher lows, anything like that comes in and we break whatever today's daily candle close is, that's an uptrend kind of kicked off. And the nice thing is, let's just say this is where the daily closes today. And then whatever happens over a couple days, maybe it's just a little wick down. The nice thing is once this confirmation comes in, if it does, there's usually another dip after that where you get the real test. And that's where I like to fill. So perfect world, something like that. And we actually just had that on time. So we have a ready-made example for this, which is nice. There was really two types of traders really, depending on how you trade, that might have taken a long position on time based on what's been going on with this downtrend. And so you have your low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. And if I'm a betting man and I say high time frame, this is in the PCZ, there's all kinds of support over here, some volume was traded, I'm going to take risks here at the higher low in this local reload zone, risk to here. That's one way to get long on this, betting that it's going to reverse and continue upwards. The other way, as you can see circled here, was really to let that higher low come in and then break that midpoint like we just did here, and then you get that retest like I was just talking about. So ready-made example over there on time, and that's something similar that I'm actually watching for here on AVAX. And so with all the conjecture around, we're going to go to December and then Bitcoin's going to rally on the way there and then we're going to rotate into altcoins and then we're going to have a bear market. Like, cool, man. Glad you got that all figured out. It's nice to have a vision of what you think might happen, but nobody knows. And so knowing what's coming is actually less important than just knowing what criteria you need to take action. And in this case, I need to see a trend reversal on AVAX BTC if I'm going to take action, in this case getting longer, because I already hold some AVAX. Just like with time, waiting for that confirmation of bullish trend reversal, and we got it this week. So this thing is either sideways, uppy in general as far as trends go. That's what my guess is, or at least that's what the chart says. So the crazy thing about TA, and people like to say, oh, TA is a meme. Some people like to say that. If you're here watching the show, by the way. Thanks for hopping in. If you're here watching the show, you probably don't think TA is a meme. You probably appreciate it. You want to learn something about it, or you just already know it and you're here to, share some ideas and get some ideas. But I'll tell you what, I mean, it doesn't work perfectly every time. And so that's where risk management comes in, right? Small losers, big winners. Something we talk ad nauseum about on this show, and that probably isn't going to change. So for all the times that, you get a bullish trend reversal and then price just goes down anyways, rare, but it does happen, like lower probability. And people say, see, TA doesn't work. It's like, well, not that time. So I lost $1. But then all the times it does work, I'll make $3. And so you just look for situations where the probability is that your trade will win, even if it's a 50-50. Right? You can be very profitable with a 50-50 win rate, as long as you're making $3 or more for every dollar that you risk in the market. And if that's news to you, or if that's like, if that's eye-opening, then you should really, really, really take some time and read up on risk management. And for lack of a preset resource to share with you guys on that, I'll just say check out Hxro on Twitter. He's got a really good, fully hashed out kind of guide for people in crypto and new to trading, and there's a really good risk management section in there. Hxro on Twitter. I love that he put that out. It's really in depth. So I'll just throw you over there if you're wondering about where to follow up with more risk management strategy. So important. Can't overstate that. Secret doing lovely today. Let's check out Secret. I haven't looked at it in quite a little while, mostly because I'm LPing over on Sienna and staking my Secret. It's a hold for me at this point. I'm not sitting on Binance. Really nice bounce. Love that. I'm not sitting on Binance, looking to get out at these chaos levels yet. This one's more of a thesis play for me. So I am looking at it for the long term. I just really think that privacy first DeFi is an incredibly powerful concept. And I just think if I think DeFi is going to go mainstream, and then I ask myself, upon arrival, where will most large players like to be? Are they going to want to play in an environment where everyone can see their trades, their balances, their actions? Or are they going to want to maintain some level of secrecy and maintain a certain edge? And I think the way I've posited that question, you can already guess what my answer is. Hold on, I dropped something. Oh, sneaky. You ever just drop something and it just disappears? And it's just out of your eyesight around the corner from something weird? Yeah, just happened. Real life. Now, Secret USD has just claimed sort of previous all-time high daily candle close. And so this bullish retest was an area to start, getting longer if that's what my plan was. But I'd already kind of load up. I'm not really trading this, but you can see here, this is why we love TA, because it gives buyers an area to start thinking long, and if enough of them believe in it, then that's where we end up bouncing, and that's what we've done so far. So you just want to watch the volume, obviously watch the price action up around these highs, because if we were into a trend reversal here, I don't think we are, but if we were, it would be this short reload zone where people start to get really resistancy, selling bags and getting back to maybe break even on their FOMO buy and deciding that they'd rather get the fuck out. And so we've already seen that now. It looks like it wicked back down from that sweet spot, which is the thin green line, the 702. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I'm just, like I said, long and strong for the foreseeable future on Secret until my thesis is proven wrong or this thing's just ridiculous. I mean, look, here's what you got to look at on Secret. This is what gets me excited about this coin. Look at this weekly versus Bitcoin. Looks pretty good. So if I'm bullish on Bitcoin, which I am, I mean, what's not to be bullish on right now? I mean, a lot of people see today's price action. They say, that was the top. Well, let me tell you, all the way along through a bull market, you get these pullbacks, and on every single one, the market is going to try to convince you to get out of the position. You may have your own reasons to get out of positions. Maybe you're over leveraged. Maybe you're well beyond your risk parameters and you have no choice. You have to sell the dips. But in a strong bull, you get these. You get these, and every single time somebody somewhere is showing TA or some reason why that's probably the top. I'm going to wait for the market structure to tell me what's going on, right? We've got one dip. Now, if we come up and just fail miserably, and then we have a low time, or well, in this case, a daily trend reversal, yeah, okay. Maybe I can get out, and now I'm prepared for this, and, we do this, and like there's a case for that, this kind of thing right here. But right now, it's just literally like straight onwards and upwards for what? The entire month? Remember, is October 1st. It just went whoop on that Friday morning, and we've just been straight up since. So this is nothing. This is not a change in the trend. Either way, bullish on Bitcoin. Secret versus Bitcoin looks incredible. Just came in and closed a weekly W, right? Low, higher low, breakout. And so really anything down into here is like screaming buy if we get that. That would probably be like Bitcoin, shooting off to 70, 80K. This might happen to some of these BTC pairs. But otherwise, it looks like we've just done a clean retest and it might just be ready to go. We'll see. Secret is oddly underpriced, in my opinion, as far as like market cap and adoption. And then you've got that whole IBC thing coming up on Atom that could really interconnect it and bring a lot of more, volume and interest there. So that should be good. Yeah, RUNE is something I keep seeing. That's a ticker that's popping up. So my guess is it's rallying. Often the holders of a coin get really excited when things start moving, and it's actually not moving as hard as I expected. But yeah, that's a beautiful volume squeeze. Huge buyers stepping in at the lows here. That was a really strong signal. And since then, it's just been quiet. Well, really quiet. And so you almost get, just like you would have sometimes like a consolidation in price, where it squeezes, right? And then it's like, ooh, 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 and then it just explodes. You can have that in volume too, as you can see here. So it's a really strong move. It's not just the same as these candles here, where you have that, pretty much a similar move it looks like, but this is much more significant because of the volume. And really it's a bit of a price squeeze as well. So keep an eye on RUNE, I guess. There's a couple of hacks in there. This cross-chain, all this interesting stuff. I've never actually held any of this coin, but I certainly haven't missed it. This is the breakout, right? This is, you can look back and say, ooh, I should have bought the sweet spot. Ooh, I should have bought this. But there was no real reason to for me, especially in a market like this where there's so many things moving. Obviously, I'm balls long on ICE, time, and spell. It's going to be really hard for me to rotate out of those bags anytime soon. They also all pay, yield and staking rewards. ICE hasn't even gone live yet. So point being, like, I'm not too hungry to rotate into a whole bunch of different alts right now. But all of this was just preparing for the breakout. And so now that we've got that, now I can take action, because I can be pretty sure that if I get long on this, I won't have to wait long to find out if I'm right or wrong. So in this case, breakout on volume, pretty good bet that wherever this initial impulse move ends up, there will be a retest of at least the 382. This is what the PCZ was born for. And so instead of sitting in here and saying, I hope RUNE moves one day, I can literally just wait for this to happen. Let the initial impulse come in. A lot of FOMO, people buying. Then you get the initial breakout traders. There's some guys who are bored of their coin here. They're taking profits, dumping on the guys who just bought the highs. Those guys end up capitulating. Comes right into the PCZ, where guys like me and a whole wave of other traders step in and put in the floor. And ideally, we just keep moving on volume. At least that's the pretty story I like to paint with charts. So we'll see if that can happen. I'd say there's a 50% chance I completely forget about this chart before that does happen. But I'm going to make an effort not to. How can I do that with alerts? I don't know how high it's going to go. So price alert doesn't make sense. It might already be done here. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll write it down. Good old pen and paper. The boomer stuff. I don't even have paper with me. Okay, here we go. RUNE. Yeah. And so after a stream like this, we talk about so many things, and there's certain ones that kind of pique my interest more than others. This one, I'd be stupid not to try to take that setup, right? Trading is not about making money every time. It's like, you got to get a setup that every single time you see it, without even thinking, you can just take it. collect your data. Oh, it's a win. Oops, it's a loss, whatever. And then over time, that setup is profitable. So I'd be silly to come up with a setup like this, see it here, and not at least make an attempt to trade it. So I have written it down. Thank you guys for bringing that to my attention. I mean, it's got everything you need, right? Nice little confirm bullish market structure, volume. Like, oh, love that. Love it. And then obviously we can talk about like, well, where am I to go? I noticed through the summer bear, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of the chaos levels that ended up hitting were something like this. It was like the low to sort of, you know, the high behind it that marked sort of the resistance going forward. So for what it's worth, that's how I'll draw it this time. Oh, that's not the tool. Let's get the chaos and see where this thing might go if it breaks out. It's the fun part. Boom. Wow. $37 RUNE. So it could happen. In fact, you know, looks pretty probable if this thing breaks out that that's where we would at least get to ring the cash register. So that's kind of cool. Nice long consolidation, nice volume coming in. It's got everything. And then of course, you know, you could go even deeper and overanalyze, and I don't know. I don't even think FA is overanalyzing, but look into it. What do they have coming up? Is there a certain event? Do they have a launch? Do they have a release? Because if they do and it rallies big time into that, that might just be a nice sell the news trade too, which is cool. Love those. Love a trade that gives you a date for which you can exit. Nothing gets better than that. No guessing. PEFI gonna get rush reward soon. Nice. I hope PEFI is moving. I have a bag. I bought a bag for the Boo Fi. What's it called? You know, IDO. Is it IDO? Anyways, I didn't even claim it. Such a tool. Totally forgot. Went back to the site. I was like, hey, where's my Boo Fi? And then it was like, you were supposed to claim, sir. So I don't actually have any of that coin, but I do have some PEFI staking. So let's go see. It's kind of getting the move you would want to see down here in what is undoubtedly the reload zone. So it's in location. Don't even have to chart it, but we will. It's down in the reload zone. If it closes today, whoops, above this midpoint, that would be confirmed bullish trend reversal, and it looks like it probably will. Nice buy volume coming in. No reason to front run that because the buy isn't on the moment anyways. Usually it's like, I mean, it depends how you want to trade it. I prefer to wait for the pullback after a trend reversal because they often do come in. So I find more often than not, like 70% of the time when I just FOMO in at a trend reversal confirmation, I end up like eating shit for a few days. And if you sized up too much, it's really hard to hold through that 10, 20% drawdowns. And then, of course, if you do sell on that initial dip, you look back and you're like, oh, dear God, I sold the first higher low in the big bull trend. Like, it's not the way to go. So I'm going to wait on this one. But thanks for bringing that to my attention. I do have a bag staking that I just kind of set and forget after it dumped so hard. I think I bought it through this flag here just for that friggin' IDO. So nothing too crazy, obviously, or I would have been watching it more. Why would anyone want to get an ETH DeFi bags now? That's a good question, Pippykins. Some of them are going to move. Some of them are going to move. I'm not in too many, but I miss shit all the time. One and FTM both made new all-time highs today. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, if you guys are here and you're enjoying the show, give us a like. It's totally free to do, and it makes me feel good. Hit us with a like. If you haven't already, you can sub to the channel. Suddenly, it's become a cool thing to do. We're almost up to 9,000, which is really friggin' awesome. Started this channel with 8 last July. So just about 15 months or so, 16. So feels good. If you want to give your contribution to the channel, appreciate that. And hit the bell so you know when we're going live and it gives you all these notifications and stuff. Let's check out one. We've got Coach Popovic in the chat. He gave me a heads up on one the other day. I think it was like 17 cents a few weeks ago. Ooh, damn. This does look good. Just made new all-time highs today by a pip. So we'll see. You know, it's in that kind of consolidation-y range. I mean, if I was in a position for this, you know, from anywhere down here, this is like exactly what I'd want to see. But for the sake of us plebs who don't have a bag, I would just say like this looks like could be consolidating here. So that's like the median bull case, where you just get this kind of like fib pong for the next little bit. Obviously, there's going to be people in here saying, oh, it's a double top, 2 highs matching. Well, that won't confirm until we break below here. So still a ways to go. And then, of course, it could just rocket sometime in the next few days. 3 options, sideways and then up, down, or straight up. I would probably not worry about it too much, like I said, if I was already in the position. And yeah, it looks like some sellers stepped in here as soon as those highs were swept. Lots of volume in this candle, and now it's red. So it looks scary, but looks really bullish. It's trending up. You do want to see new highs in volume if it breaks out here, though. Would hate to make a whole bunch of new highs and have declining volume. That's usually evidence of being near the end of a move, and maybe it is, right? We're coming into the chaos PRZ. We're actually there now. So for anyone who is kind of super savvy and was picking up coins down, anyone who's picking up coins down here at the lows through July, this is a take profit area, which is interesting, right? Because for most people, this is where they're suddenly getting bullish. How ironic, right at the chaos level. So not saying this is like take profit, get out, we're going down, but it's possible. And as a rule, anytime I'm up here and I've been in the trade for a little while, I just take a little out. So also the 877. There's so many ways to trade this. This is the high time frame view, right? Get in there at the 5 minute and chase the triangle breakout and get a nice scalp off. Who knows? But that's how I see it. I think it's hit TP1 and let's get it up to TP2. So if it gets up here and it's on declining volume, that's like a really easy decision for me as a trader. Not because I know where it's going to go next, but I just have all the evidence I need to like heavily pay myself. And a really good example of that could be on my green list with Ray. I talked a little bit about this on stream the other day, but same thing. Actually was loading up through here, thankfully. It was the first time in a long time that I just started buying total depression. And the reason I was able to do it was because I was only putting in little bits. I was DCAing slowly and then DCAing slowly and then adding a little more size and then admittedly kind of just like aped a whole bunch here and FOMO'd and sold some at the Chaos PRZ, felt dumb about it for a little while, sold the rest here, felt dumb for about 4 days and thinking like, oh man, Ray's going to new all-time highs. I am not in my bag. I feel FOMO. But I didn't freak out, didn't do anything, just kind of changed gears and looked at other stuff, and here we are a month later, and it's back in a zone where I can start making a new trade. So does this happen on RUNE? Or, excuse me, one, right? New highs in volume, new highs in price. Strong, looking like it's going to continue. New highs in price, lower highs in volume. At resistance, at take profits. Much clearer signal. See how that works? So that can be, as a TA trader, that's something that really helps me decide when to pay myself. But I will tell you, like, this is a long 4 days, right? After you get out of a big position, you feel really good about it. It's very common to want to go stare at the chart and try to see if you nailed it. And for 4 days, I was feeling like I messed it up. But you just got to trust the plan. And this actually looks really good. So with Solana breaking to new highs, first and foremost, let's talk Solana. Look at this. Didn't quite make a new all-time high. Bitcoin, kind of cooling off. This is the 3rd straight day up. Wouldn't be surprised to see some consolidation here, whatever it's going to be. The point is, I am not one bit worried about how much or little Solana I bought during this dip. I did buy some back, right? Remember I got out, same thing, got out of some here, got out of the rest here. I bought some back, I don't know, like 138, somewhere in here, maybe, I don't know. But I'm not worried about missing anything here because the bigger play to me, as ever, like with ETH, and then ETH is in a bull, so you go buy some shitcoins. I like the Solana altcoins as far as like upside, right? Because Solana starts making new all-time highs, then suddenly people miss that, or they start rotating some Solana profits into these, and they start, oh damn, this one's gonna go. No, and like Feed is actually the first one. It's basically mirroring Hxro right now. Feed is a nice strong, probably like number 3 or 4, I'd say, on Solana, as far as like blue chippery goes. And then you've got all of these alts down and down. You've got maps just like nuked through the reload zone, low liquidity, probably some stop loss or cascade. Looks like kind of low volume. So, but the nice buyback and the continuation. So yeah, these are the ones that I am watching. Look, or media. You know, look at that volume right off the reload zone. Well, I'm going to go chase the highs on Solana for a 2x to $400. Nah, I'm looking at these. So this is something I'll be covering a lot on stream in the next little while. Maybe getting some tweets out if I see any signals. I'm sure there's some here. For example, radium. Lower high, lower high, lower high. We've got a reversal. Bing, bing. And confirmed. Kind of cut it off there, but you can see it. So we have confirmed actually 2 days ago that this should be now a bull trend, or at the very least consolidation. In other words, I can say pretty safely that if it goes back below here, let's make it a big red line. Don't cross the red line. That is a strong level for me to be thinking invalidation. And a lot of people say, well, what if you get wicked? Yeah, it happens. So what? Lose a trade. Oh. And then you get, I got scammed, whatever. It happens, right? But on the alternatively, if I just try to not have a stop loss or I don't know, whatever else you would do there, you can get nuked. And then you're looking back, like right here. Like, great example. Right here, the low. What if I didn't have my stop loss there because I was worried it might wick me and go? Well, before I woke up the next morning, I was underwater like another 30%. And then I'm like, well, I'm so underwater, I'm just going to wait. And that is where depression happens. And let me guess, I bet you a whole handful of people who held from here thinking I'll just wait for it to go back up ended up selling down here. So I hate getting stuck in bad positions. As a trader, you just got to get sick of it very quickly. Because if you start to adapt your life around being stuck underwater, that's where you end up living. Then you'll drown. So, bullish trend reversal on Ray. Nice volume creeping in. I'm saying all this fully with no plans to actually go and get any. I'm adding it to my list. Ray, no fucking around. I'm sick of this shit. Spotting trend reversals, identifying it, hashing out exactly how I would trade it, and then going back to my other things that I'm doing all day. No. So I'm actually going to take a look at Ray today on my own trade account. I think SHROOM is a sure bet to be like top 2 with Solana. As far as like the blue chips go, it is really the number 2. So I don't see how it misses out on a party. And this buy volume coming in is a clear sign today of bulls waking up. I don't love the structure quite as much. Arguably on the daily, it hasn't confirmed quite as cleanly yet. But this is not like an isolated trade of a random asset that may or may not have a catalyst, right? I mean, this is the number 2 on Solana, and Solana is breaking out really close to price discovery right now. So with those other reasons, I might be able to, well, actually I lied. Look at this. I was just looking at it wrong. It's different from Ray. We've got a low. Well, never mind. That was kind of a lower low. I don't know. Now you might ask and be like, oh, you're overthinking it, RT. But look, the criteria is so important because if I have a plan to execute a certain way when something happens, then that something better fucking happen. If it happens at all differently, it doesn't fit the criteria. So in this case, it's a lower high here. So it doesn't really fit for the W. You really want to see a higher low. So we could go back, say we had a low. We're thinking about candle body closes right now. And then we had a higher low. So technically this would be the confirmation of that. But with the volume coming in, like I said, Solana going to highs, I'd be pretty comfortable putting a little bit of Solana in my bags right now. Somewhere in this kind of local reload zone. Because I bet to, the other thing is like, okay, I really want a reason. Well, this is interesting. Look, there's a lot of selling going on here. What the hell's that? Take it all back. Abort. But yeah, zooming in, probably find some bullish market structure right here. A little breakout. Oh my God, it's a PCZ. And send it. This selling is interesting though. I know what that's all about. SHROOM has a lot of inflation, right? It has a lot of vested tokens. It's being airdropped to FTT holders, although I think that might be locked. But something to keep in mind. It does have an insanely high, fully diluted valuation, which, depending who you are, matters. I don't know how much I think that matters. I think if Solana goes into price discovery, SHROOM will be higher than it is right now. Let's just put it that way. So really nice little structure here. This is a bit of an anomaly. I have no idea what to make of that, other than perhaps a little caution. Instead of risking 1% of my account on this trade, I might then say, okay, I'll risk 0.5%, or I'll risk 0.25%. Take the size down, still get the trade. Don't know what Sushi's up to. It's on my SAM list here just because I was trading it a lot when I was in the Solana bags. It's just squeezing here, consolidating. If it breaks out from here on volume, watch out. Probably going to go to 23 bucks at least. Previous highs, chaos. So, yeah, this would be, oh, it's a little low, a little aggressive. This would be like anything like that. Oof, this is going to be so sweet. Got to remind myself. In fact, $12. If price trades above $12, I would like to know about it. That's a pretty significant level. That would be a breakout from here. And that would be this consolidation reversing upwards. And then, of course, getting some nice buy volume would really stamp it of approval. And then every single little dip at the start there would be a great opportunity for me to take some risk in the market. I think, let's say, you know, wherever that breakout goes, let's say it goes up to there, whoop, and then it comes back, bing, like that's going to be such a sweet spot. Now, without a plan, like this day when this happens is probably a day when like Bitcoin and ETH or whatever, like shit's just pulling back. That's usually when that happens. It's not just like, it's not easy. It's easy to look at, it's easy to drop, but on the day that that happens, there's usually some reason that makes you not want to buy things. That's why people are selling, and that's where that dip came from. So that's why I like to plan this out in advance and then just have, you know, I will take this action when I see such criteria, blah, 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 and just kind of follow it as robotically as possible. Easier said than done. FTT is looking good. Weirdly. Bitcoin, you know, really nice buy volume coming in. Same kind of thing we've been seeing a lot of today on these charts. Well, let's go to the daily actually. So I was messing around with it the other day, just put some lines on it, but I guess we can take those off. But yeah, same kind of thing, right? Consolidation down. Front ran this whole higher time frame reload zone, which I'm not surprised with. FTT has proper, I guess, use case, right? Keeping it staked, getting rewards from Serum, and then of course they're burning it every so often to do with revenues or fees. Like, it's a strong token. It's not like an air token that when it comes bearish, you know, everyone just sells. They have no reason to hold it. So not surprised it didn't make it into the, did make it into some of these levels. But this is a bullish reversal on volume. Really, really nice. 63 bucks. Is there any planet where FTT doesn't end up trading higher significantly? Like, I don't know if I could search the universe for such a planet, such a reality. It's just a matter of patience and then cost, opportunity cost. You know, is it going to be the fastest mover? Are you going to sit there and then sell it boredom like a month later? It's up at $100. Like, I don't know. But this is one of the strongest altcoins in the market. Make no mistake about it. Their business is booming, and this is directly tied to usage. So just want to make sure I always get my FTT love in. I've got a bag, you know, got an old bag of a bunch of them that I staked, but then I've also just got some I just picked up the other day, I think at like 60, so not too far off here, but obviously don't have much size on it, no perps or anything, but I would like to be longer because this just looks fantastic. And apparently they gave out a whole bunch of crypto last night at the big start to Miami FTX arena, which is kind of cool. A whole bunch of people got $500 worth of crypto. So this guy, you know, Sam's doing God's work. He's bringing people in, because what do you do if somebody gives you $500 in crypto? You download a wallet, and now you are a crypto holder. I think it was like one entire section of the arena, maybe like one lucky section will win crypto tonight. So that's a pretty cool thing. And if they just keep doing it throughout the year, I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe it was just for the opening night, who knows? But my guess is it was like, hey, download our app too, and then we'll send it to you. So it's all very dope. Even though ICE is just getting going, do you like it at its current level? That's a really good question. I absolutely love ICE below $100. But as a trader, I don't like it at all-time highs, which is where it is right now. Looks incredibly high on this chart. Where Where's my chart? Where's my chart? I had one done up. I guess it's a different pair. There you go. Yeah, like, here's the thing. I'm so bullish on ICE. I'm very biased. It is my largest, second largest altcoin position. So, you know, be aware of that. I have a huge position in ICE relative to my portfolio. I'm not going to sit here like, I am an ICE whale, but like relative to the other things I have, this takes up a large chunk of my portfolio. And I don't think I have to get into why. So the question then you're asking is like, do I still like it at 30? As a new entry? No, not really. I think it's about to go live. So there's probably, you know, a few schmucks out there that are like, hey, once it goes live, I'll sell it. Can you get a dip? Can you get a new entry? I mean, PCZ should happen again someday from one level or another. So there's that. You know, I don't know where it's going to go. I just know that there's rules that I need to follow to add to positions and join into positions. And as of this moment, it's actually pretty close to that. This thing's just been climbing the stairs beautifully. So does that party continue? And then, you know, is it the high 20s now that suddenly, you know, it's not, again, then it's like, well, I don't know where it's going to go from there, but at least I followed my rule, right? If I'm only buying on some kind of dip, whether it's a PCZ or an RLZ, blah, 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 then I don't really have to care if it was right, wrong, made money or lost money, because it just fit the plan and we just execute. So I don't like it here. I love it here. And I don't like it anywhere down here. That would hurt. The way that they're setting this up, you know, the LP optimization, then it can be like eventually leveraged through app. Wow. Well, hey, on the bright side, I found out what's wrong. I don't know how to fix it. But I ran the network adapter troubleshooting. It says the default gateway is not available. Fixed. So I'm going to take that to Dell and tell him to fix it. Sternly written letter incoming. Winning in training, yeah. Sorry, guys. Just remember, it's much worse from where I'm sitting. The deep, deep shame that comes with not understanding what's wrong with otherwise perfectly running system. I don't know really which part of my long rant you guys lost me at, but I was about to switch over to Mist. So hopefully whatever I was talking about just before that was fairly well-rounded. Yeah, Jed, I appreciate it. Look, a couple guys reached out to me last week. I switched a few things around. You know, we shut down the Facebook live stream. I don't know how many people are even watching that. We can just send replays there, whatever. And Wednesday was perfect. So, you know, the hardest thing with this stuff, just to let you guys in on this, not that you're here to find out about how to run a live stream, but when you need to troubleshoot it, it's very hard to test if it's fixed. Right, you get on the line with internet provider, whoever, and they're like, okay, should be good to go. And you're like, well, I fucking hope so, man. But there's no way to know until I'm live. You can do a private stream with a few guests and sit there for an hour and hope it doesn't go down. You know, sometimes it doesn't go down to the 50th minute. So after 20 minutes clean, can you know, you just can't know. So it's incredibly tedious. Anyways, today we found out it was not, in fact, fixed. But I did just get, you know, a problem found diagnostic. So I'm going to take that specific to Dell and just say, what the fuck, man? Fix this shit. So it could be as simple as optimizing this or clicking that. I just, you know, I'm not a nerd. I'm not a computer nerd anyways. I'm a crypto nerd. So we'll figure it out. I'm not going to sweat it. Look, Mist this is probably not Alchemist. This is not the one you're asking about, but that actually looks pretty good. So accidentally found what is decent looking. I don't know what that project does, but let's go look at Alchemist. I feel like that's the one you're talking about. I did trade this earlier in the year very poorly, I might add. Identified this breakout, added in the PCZ, ended up selling back in the PCZ again, and then watched a really nice move, you know, A, B, C, D. My buddy did trade it though, after I shared it with him, and he actually held on to it. So at least somebody did okay. So I don't know which Mist you were referring to, but if it's Alchemist, it actually, You know, it is consolidating above support after a strong move, but it's that same kind of thing where it's like slightly, well, I don't know. This is CMC volume, so I don't know if I want to call this like lower volume on a higher high, but it is there, so it's something to consider. But you also had higher volume here, kind of within this move on a lower high, so some kind of divergence. I don't know. I don't really have a method for reading the CMC volume. Who knows where all that volume comes from and how relevant it is compared to maybe like on a direct pair that you're actually trading on that exchange. So are we aping into Klima or not? I'm not. I think there's probably something there. I mean, if it's based on the own model and it's an endorsed fork, there's probably something there. But I didn't get into the pre-sale, which was like $300, so I had a harder time buying it at 2,000, especially with how hyped it was. Worrying that with those APYs and the kind of crowd that was aping into it, probably looking more for the cash grab. So I wasn't sure enough. And then on the actual day, I did have a little bit of Matic. I was just going to ape in for lols, and I couldn't even get it to work. So it's pretty much where I left Klima. But no hate. I mean, I'm sure, aside from Polygon, Polygon just doesn't work very well, sadly. It's a sticky process. So not a huge fan. But hey, I am a fan of Matic. I mean, I was, at least from a token price perspective back in February, you guys remember, but Polygon, as it turns out, is just not very stable. I don't like it. Missed the Sued game on Polygon, maybe, yeah. That doesn't look like the right Alchemist. Oh, so this is not Alchemist? Interesting. It's the one I've been charting for Alchemist for a while. I think it is, but you might be looking at like a BTC pair. Secret moving? Oh, get me so fired up. Let's go look at Secret again. Let's look at it versus Bitcoin. See, oh, boner. Yes. Ooh, people are trading their Bitcoin in for Secret tokens. Who knew? Fuck yeah. That looks good. The nice thing about my Secret bag is I don't have it, like I said, tracked or on exchange at all. It's not on my Zapperfy. It's not on anything. I don't even, every once in a while, I'll go take a peek in the wallet that it's in and be like, what is that worth? I don't even know. It's just nice to see green. Fat green, too. Guys, I'm telling you, and this is not the time to be like, suddenly you should become a Secret bull at the highs, but like, I'm so bullish on private DeFi. It just makes sense. I don't think I could have a stronger thesis for the next year or two. Secret is the only major private DeFi platform that I know of. If you know of another one, let me know. Maybe we take an Echo play. But God, yeah, and more I use it, I'm actually over there using the DeFi there. Not for much, just kind of like bootstrap liquidity on Sienna, but it pays well. The rewards are good. And so, you know, it's also just like a new DeFi ecosystem. Now, does Secret come out and announce DeFi incentives? I don't know. Seems like the thing to do these days. At some point, they will need to. Maybe they want to stabilize a bit. The Secret swap was exploited a month ago, 2 months ago. Then they had to sort of reboot and do a V3 and launch and basically roll it back. A lot of people be like, oh, you rolled back the chain. I'm like, well, it's a damn good thing they did. Otherwise, a lot of people would have lost a lot of money and everyone would have been wrecked. So for all those centralized, decentralized haters, I think in this case, it's early on and the community and devs came together and decided to do something about it. I'm cool with that. I didn't have any money on the system at the time, but had they protected my money, I'd be okay with that. It's not like infinitely bad to have that possibility on a chain, as much as it's like you just really have to trust who the key holders are. In this case, I do. And I think eventually the plan is, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure the plan is eventually to really decentralize it so that they can't roll back the chain. But it's super early. So if something goes wrong, you say, oh, fuck, well, I don't want everyone to lose millions of dollars, so we're just going to go ahead and take back those hackers' tokens. Go fuck yourself. I like that for what it's worth. Oh, ALCX. Okay. Well, let's check out ALCX. $300 plus coin. Damn. I've heard about this one a few times. Don't really know anything about it. Let's see. Guys, we are at the top of the hour, so we are going to be wrapping up shortly. Not too right away, but keep that in mind. If the stream rugs again, I'm seeing my connection drop from excellent to good. No idea why. Can imagine my rage. What the hell is the point of a gigabit connection on a hard line if you have anything but perfect? But if it does rug again, I might just say goodbye on Twitter. But let's take a look. Let's just pretend that's never going to happen. But just to give you a full, honest heads up. ALCHemix, is this the one? ALCX? Looks good, yeah. Let's take a look at ALGO after this. Yeah, it's at resistance. So in many ways, you could say no rush. Now, here's the exciting thing about the market state we're about to be in. Once you see enough rallies, right? Just say we see a coin that looks just like this, and it just takes off. And we can start to recognize that pattern before the breakout. And you can just start to kind of extrapolate what's happening in the market versus what this chart looks like and say, at this time, because of all of those other things, I don't necessarily need the full criteria to execute on this particular coin because everything else around it, or maybe a bunch of shit that looks just like it, just did this and then blew up. So that's a chance to front run my own setups here sometime through the bull. It's a very exciting time. The last time I did that was in February on Ocean. And the nice, oh, what's the alert? Oh, Trendmaster. The nice thing about when you have that is I can take a much more like higher conviction bet. You know, when it's like everything's kind of breaking out. Let's go find the Ocean one. Here it was. Love this trade. Right? Everything in the market was going wild, or at least a lot was. And then you have this big consolidation, push, higher, low, push, breakout, volume. Like this retest here, oof, size. Like knowing when to size up, having that conviction. In that case, I just looked at it. I just said, you know, probability here is so incredibly high that, you know, I can push some size into it and just bink, chaos. Now, as a trade, that's like incredible. It's perfect. But I actually did sell a bunch of it through here because I just had so much size on it. And I was like, oh, it's a great trade. Yeah, made some money. But as it turns out, you know, over 3 months, it actually went up and just pipped the chaos. So it makes for a great trading view idea, doesn't it? But the reality is often much less sexy. So is that something we're seeing here? You know, Secret starting to move. Incredible base built up here versus Bitcoin. This, like a chart like this tells me that Bitcoin maybe can't go on a huge dominance rally. I mean, it could for sure. I'm just, you know, you see a bunch of charts like this, you say, what? How are they so bullish breaking out on volume if Bitcoin's about to like rip them a new one? So I don't know. It could wick here and just consolidate for a bit while Bitcoin goes to 100K. I don't know. But I have a hard time believing on charts like this that they're bearish. Obviously, this one is not. But there are a lot of altcoin versus Bitcoin charts that just look like they need more time. Yeah, so all that to say, you know, ALCHemix, if this is the chart you guys are asking about, I think it is. It's kind of early to be like, ooh, I know this is going to break out because we're in such a bull market. It's, we're getting there. But that Ocean one was a little different. There was literally like 20 coins that had just done that exact same thing. And so I just did a big scan of TradingView and I found that one and I was like, oh, this one looks like the others, but it hasn't broken out yet. So when it did, it was like, you almost kind of knew what was going to happen next. I'll put new in quotation marks because you never know, but you can be pretty friggin' sure. And when I'm pretty friggin' sure about something, I like to put some sauce on it. Oh, sorry, I was behind. Okay, Paul Young. What is smart money trading this weekend? That's a good question. Look for the volume. And if your time frame is just over the weekend, look for like the 15-minute and hourly volume probably. The daily won't give you much insight into what's going to happen in the next 2 days. It can, I guess. Big daily breakout confirmed. Next candle's probably green or shit like that, but I digress. Could you have look at DYDX? DYDX. Yeah, let's check it out. DYDX. How's this thing doing after its big party? Huh. Doesn't look that exciting. Is it on something else? I feel like there was like a really bullish looking chart. Ah, that's a little better. Oh, yeah. Well, it did come into a pay target and people got paid. So, you know, here's a case where paying yourself at the fib extension, which I sometimes do. I don't always. It's usually the first place I'll pay myself and then up at the chaos. But in this case, yeah, pretty cool resistance there. Pretty sick. But let's look at, you know, something more relevant, like what might happen next. Whoa, we're in the zone. Damn. In the zone. PCZ. Let's check it out. Let's ink it. So we made a new high, presumably an all-time high, a high volume. Now look, interestingly, you know, sliding down volume as we kind of moved up into that level. So that, you know, obviously I would have been sitting here saying, I'm going to pay myself here. Wouldn't have got paid. Might have said that if the volume's falling off. But there was a hint here with the volume kind of dying off, just saying as price goes up, there's less and less buyers that feel like buying it. That's really what this information tells us. Now we're into this PCZ. We're kind of into that sort of volume squeeze we've seen on a few coins today. A few coins today we've seen have already broken out. I would rather wait on this one for risk of missing it altogether, but rather wait for the buyers to say, hey, we're here and we're ready to buy. We're ready to send it to the next leg. Because right now there's just opportunity cost. This thing could, I mean, it was a pretty incredible move. Obviously, it was a huge airdrop. How many of them are holding? How many still need to shuffle out of their positions? And how long could this thing just chill? Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a day. But we'll know, or we'll have some really good information about it once we see some volume come in. Is some nice volume through this on the 4 hour. So it's not like it's dead or anything. I just like to overthink shit. So if I don't have a big hard on for DYDX, I think it's dope. I think it's probably really good. Somebody's in it could like shill it to the moon, and I'd be like, yeah, it sounds reasonable. There's a lot of things that are going to go really high this year, most likely. But right now I need volume, and I need it now. So it'd be sick if we get it. Because like you get that volume, and then like cool, buy it up here. But at least I know it's moving, right? It's the theme of today. Because in a market like this, there's so much opportunity cost associated with just buying coins because someday they might do well, right? I invest in a lot of stuff, but I'm not looking for investments right now when I look at charts. I'm looking for trades. And if I'm going to trade something, I'd like it to be moving. And especially in a market where so much shit is moving. Can't afford for a sideways week. Ain't nobody got no time for that. Now, if I had insight into like an event coming up in November and this thing's sitting in the PCZ and I say, you know, DYDX has this big thing coming up. And if it's a less known event, you know, nobody's really talking about it yet, even better. In that case, fuck the volume. Let's get in there. But yeah, that's my take on it. Oh yeah, ALGO. ALGO. Wow. ALGO is similar kind of thing. God, guys, can we just circle back and just start again and just say the market looks so fucking good right now? Just the market in general. Put that out this morning on Twitter, you know, gradually then suddenly. Handful of my bags like Time, Ice, and Spell and Bitcoin. You know, look at Bitcoin. I mean, monster rally this year. Big reaccumulation, evidence of the reaccumulation on chain, big wallets buying, tiny shit little underwater wallets selling, break back up above all-time highs, and now retesting the major resistance that ended the earlier bull. I mean, we are sitting on a fucking launch pad right now, and it is kind of uncomfortable how bullish everything looks. I'm just like, oh, because I know that there's tools out there that would allow me to get longer. I do. There's leverage. There's borrow, lend. I could size up. I could take more risk. And that's where maybe the discomfort comes from. Because I'm like, don't do it. There's no need. You know? There's no need to take that extra risk. But it's very tempting. I'm going to stick to my plan and stick to spot for the most part. I might get a little scalp account going on Binance, fuck around a bit, but I don't see any reason to put major size into positions while we're in a system, like while we're in greed. You know, maybe in fear and it's starting to show signs of, there's a time for me to do that. I typically stay away. So yeah, but anyways, ALGO. ALGO looks good. You know, huge breakout on volume after very long drawn out consolidation. And now this is really the first major consolidation after the breakout, right? So you look at this, you say, well, was this a bullish cycle and is it now done? Or what it actually looks like objectively is that was a breakout to a new uptrend, and this is the first resting stop. And it just happens to be laying right on the level that I had drawn on the chart, which always feels good. Validation of televised. Validation of TA. And it's, guess where it's sitting? Right in the PCZ. So if I was a fan of ALGO, which I am, and I didn't have a bag, which I don't, this is an area where I should be paying attention. I'm going to put it on my list. Just talk myself into examining ALGO. And there is a place for leverage here. Now, let me tell you how I do use leverage in this kind of market. Let's just say I've got some size in some bags that I don't really want to sell, but I would like to have some exposure to ALGO. But I'm not going to trade it at 5 and 10x leverage. That's ridiculous. If this thing shoots, it's going to be very leveraged enough. But I might take some amount of capital, stick it onto something like Binance Futures or FTX Perps, and put it at like 2 or 3x leverage, because then I can have just say I take 10K, and I want to have $30,000 of exposure, right? That's in that case where I might use leverage and say, instead of selling some shit and buying a bunch more spot algo, I might just take less of my capital to the side and use leverage to get that same exposure. It comes with 3 times the risk, right? Generally speaking, I'd say stay away from leverage. I do. But in a time like this, with all these charts looking this good, having, I do have like a small perps account over on Binance, even though I think I'm getting kicked off in December. So yeah, this is a candidate for that, where I don't really watch it too closely. My liquidation would be like isolated anyways, but it'd be like 30%, which isn't that far visually on this chart, but yeah, my 2 cents. Furthest thing from financial advice you could ever have, other than the part where I said probably just don't use leverage. But it does cross my mind. As you guys know, Whoop Whoop bought a house this week. So having pulled out some money for that, obviously my balances, like my proportions in my portfolio, are all fucked up. So I do have to spend some time kind of moving things around, because I like to have a cash balance. I like to have a Bitcoin balance, and I don't want to be 100% exposed to altcoins, which is pretty much where I am right now, once I pull those funds out. So yeah, I've got some work to do, but it's not the worst time to be deep in altcoins, unless you look at this chart and just think it's going to go straight up. But even then, like, there's worse things that could happen to altcoins than up in USD. So I've got a lot of work cut out for me, actually, for as far as rebalancing goes, but I'm going to take my sweet time with it. A lot of it's just sitting in things like Ice and Spell and Time. Yeah. Coach Popovic, I do sound like I want to. Look, I suck at leverage, and the main reason is because it shows your P&L on the screen, and I just start counting chickens, right? I don't enjoy looking at how much I'm up or down. I like to just be in the trade emotionless and have my stop loss and my take profit and set it and forget it, and that should be easy to do. And a wise man would tell you, well, size down until you can look at it and not be feeling emotional about it. But frankly, anything of significant size does affect me. So, yeah, I often just chop myself out of leverage trades. That's just a fact. You got to know yourself as a trader. And once you journal enough times that you fuck something up and you identify why you did it, like, stop doing it. So that's me in leverage. But a 2x, 3x, where you just take some like decent size and you're like, oh, I would have bought this on spot, but I'm actually just going to double it because I'm twice as confident or whatever. I don't know. But none of that crazy shit. 5, 10x. Yeah. I don't even know where to look at Klima. So I don't think we're going to look at it today. I apologize. Unless it's sitting on here now. It wasn't before. It should be. Polygon Sushi Swap, is it here? See, the charts are weird, man. Charts are weird. Maybe it is kind of like, I don't know. That doesn't look like it. Maybe it is. Klima looks flat, but the volume is rising. This is more of a fundamental play at this point. I'd want to know about staking and users and, the team and activity, and there's some bugs with Epoch 2 or whatever there was to launch, but I'm sure it's fixed now. So I'd be curious, but I don't have too many thoughts on this. I'm super bullish on Ohm's model though. Wonderland Time position in that. I've got no Klima. I actually don't have any Ohm. Womp. I should. Really big fan of what they've built. I think I'm just like, I'm such a Wonderland fanboy, and I'm so used to those low fees I did consider kind of like aping into some ohm on this kind of dip because it's just the type of chart the type of coin, especially to like low dips and then just stake it and forget it. And then I don't have to worry about fees. But I like to play with DeFi, right? Often in, out, skim, whatever. Like I like to move around, and I always just feel trapped on Ethereum. I really, really don't like, an entire Uber Eats dinner going towards every single thing I want to do. It's just ridiculous. And yes, I measure my fees in Uber Eats dinners. Sue me. It's delicious. EWT. Oh, that's the one I haven't heard in a while. We're going to do a couple more requests here, guys. My takeaways today that or at least that I've written down are RUNE, Ray, and ALGO. Went over my reasons in the thing. Those aren't calls for moons or anything, but those are trade criteria that have been met. So I would like to open some trades on those. It's so hard to like just don't try to make it copy trading, guys. Honestly, come here for some really good ideas. I know most of you guys are like, yeah, RT, we get it. You talk about this all the time, but for those of you who don't, just remember, copy trading is a pretty surefire way. Like copying ideas, I do that all the time. That's, it's a bit, but approaching those ideas with my own set of criteria, stop loss, take profit, thesis, and validation. Straight up copy trading is such a risky thing. And it sometimes works. That's why it's so harmful. It'll teach you that it works, but at the end of the day, you end up holding a bag, and then a week later, I'm like, yeah, I got out of those. I don't know. They all look like shit and market dumped. And you're just sitting there underwater like, oh no. Always late to the trough. Copy trading. Always. So, be warned. Not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. But you can only say so much. And people are going to do what they're going to do. We're all adults here. We live, we learn. I would recommend just learning this stuff. There's nothing more empowering than having your own understanding of what you're looking for. So if you're here to do that, great. And I'm hopefully teaching you some shit. And shameless plug, but I learned how to trade at TRI. So rationalinvestor.com. Always happy to share that info because they're just so good. Good people in the space. I think next term's in like January. EWT looks okay. Bullish market structure off of support. Moving up strong. Nice new highs in volume locally. Always kind of underwhelming, this token. But it has a very strong community apparently. Because there's just so many people that when they talk about it, they're like, it's definitely the best hold ever. Elon Musk's name keeps getting associated with it, but he never tweets about it, so I'm confused. Energy web token. I don't know. Yeah, looks like it's in a bull trend in a way. Lower high. Maybe I'm wrong, but locally on the daily, it is now trending up. Kind of at a level though. This, I guess, would be a trend reversal. So I'm not too excited about this one in particular. Heard about it a whole bunch of times, traded it a couple times, but I think I can do better personally right now. And if I'm wrong and it goes, all the better. Joe. Okay, we're going to talk about Joe right now. Joe is looking very undervalued, isn't it? I think so. I think we might even wrap. Not right now, but like pretty close, pretty soon after Joe. Joe's probably a good endpoint. Joe is coming into a level that I'm looking to pick up. I added a couple times through all this back. I had some pretty big size because I was farming with it, and it just felt like free money. And then the more you put in, the bigger your farm rewards are each day. And thank God I spotted the trend reversal on the daily and was just like, way too much size to just sit through a dip, not knowing on a token with that kind of inflation, or at least with the farm rewards, right? So yeah, but I have added back maybe like, I don't know, whatever, some amount. And I'd like to really take a good look at it in here. Banker Joe, I saw some chart the other day showing the fees. They are rising. Borrow lend markets on AVAX, cheap fees. Like I think there's something here. I think there's something big here, and I think that this entire thing could look like an anthill someday. Can we get double-digit Joe? I think so. I think it's possible. So yeah, all total war says same thing. $10 plus. Dustin Fay, yeah, I think I did mess up the Klima chart. You're right, but it's a weird one. It did seem really flat. I'm such a noob, but You know, I don't think Klima's is much about the chart anyways, right? It's a rebase coin. It's an algo stable. Like, you want to look at that market cap. There's a lot of data there. I'm not familiar with it. Don't want to get too into it. RT, could you look at MLN? Melon versus ETH. Okay. ChartX Pro is struggling a little bit today. You know what? Let's do it over here. Say one thing for... Enzyme. Did they rebrand? I thought it was Melon. EWT is Chico Coin. Yeah, look, maybe. I haven't watched his exact take on it, but I will tell you this. Chico reviews a lot of coins. So is it one that he just did a review on, or is he like, this is my biggest bag, or is he the co-founder? I don't know. But he definitely did talk about it once. Look at that. That's interesting. Is Enzyme what you're talking about with MLN? I'm bullish on Sienna, Chuak. I'm LPing the, one of the pools. Don't go shit in my pool, but I am in one of the LPs over there and just stacking daily rewards. I think privacy DeFi is huge, and I'm excited, and I'm here for it. What do you think the rest of the year looks like for Curve? Bullish. Bullish on Curve. Messi has Curve pilled me. Now, I have a bag of CVX CRV staking, which rewards me in a few different things, I think, like, yield farm, whatever. I think it's sitting in Badger Auto Compounder, the convex helper or whatever, CVX CRV helper. So I'm auto compounding and then also getting some Badger, which is nice. Badger's looking bullish. Anyways, Enzyme rebranded. Okay. Yes, Enzyme. Okay. Yeah. Look, all things considered, this one is in an excellent location. There's buy volume picking up at the lows. That's pretty much all you want to know when you look at one of these from like a zoomed out perspective. You say, hey, have we found a bottom range? Yes. How are the buyers starting to accumulate? Yes. So it's probably a pretty good area, like as far as like up and down, to be looking at the chart and saying, I'm going to accumulate this here. I don't know much about it. So I would have a hard time just aping in with the thousands of things in the market, but this looks good. Maybe I'm going to add it to my list. It's just one of those things where it's like, ooh, okay, I'm bored, I have ADHD. I'm going to go fidget toy over here and ape into that over there. And then, I look back a few months later at the stream and I'm like, holy shit, Enzyme was only 3.5 cents. Like, let's hope that's how it plays out. So anyways, I'll add it to my list. The other thing that I think I fuck up sometimes is that I want, I have conviction in some plays, and so I have some pretty big bags of those, and then I just, like, if I can't get that conviction in that size in another bag, I don't even look at it, which is kind of stupid. I think we're in a season where, why not plant a seed here? Tiny little fucker, like whatever, any amount. And then, 0.5% of my portfolio, like some tiny little bit. And we might be headed into a season where that becomes significant, right? If we get into that, like, let's be honest, if you're thinking about 4-year cycles, we're coming into the end of a 4-year cycle. Well, the last 4-year cycles all ended with ridiculousness. And if we're headed into that, tiny positions, get into 100x season, like, holy shit. So maybe that's what I'll do, just ape into a little bit of this. This is versus ETH, obviously, but buy a little bit. And then just forget about it. Maybe there's a staking option or something. I don't know. But I should probably start doing a little bit more of that, like sprinkling into some of these, because look, compare that to FTM. I wouldn't do that with this chart. This is a sick chart. I mean, it's very bullish. It's a cool L1. It's fast. It's all this. But this is not where it's like, ooh, I'll just go plant a seed and hope for 100x next month. Like, that's just a different play. Right? Maybe that down here you do that at the lows. But on something like Melon, you see the difference? Like, huge volume coming in down here, sitting at the lows. Like, if this ever takes off, I can expect to get a few X's out of it. So a little bag, set and forget, not even thinking about it makes sense. A lot of charts like this one, not so much. I would not do that with this kind of chart. Even if I'm super bullish on Phantom, I think it's going to go way higher. Right? I could squish it and be like, look, we're just getting started. Maybe this thing can 10x. Who knows? But probably not as easily as this thing, whatever the heck Enzyme does. I'll have to look it up, but I'm going to take your word for it and go all in. No, definitely not. But I do have it on my list. Thank you. That's versus ETH, yeah. Thoughts on Yak on AVAX, not dollars. Yeah, I know it's versus ETH. Oh! I see what you're saying. Yeah, so it's not 3 cents. I know it's versus ETH. That's why it's 3 pennies. Damn it. What a week it's been. It's been a long week. I think my brain's a little fried, to be honest. A lot of bullshit this week. Lots of craziness. A little bit fried. But look. Yeah. Well, versus USD looks a lot better. Like it's already ramping up. So I guess if it's like that ETH pair, I don't actually really have much ETH, so it's irrelevant. So thank you for pointing that out, Boomer. I missed an opportunity to just say, okay, Boomer. Oh, well. I'll get another. Yeah. Well, this looks better now. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Take back everything I just said for 5 minutes. It's not quite here, though. So it's still something, maybe I just go plant in, pick a couple of these up, and then see, because as soon as they double, if they do, I can get my money back. So like what? Buy a handful of these, sell half of them up there, and then let the market do what it will with them. It's a free position. So I might try something like that. I mean, there's no doubt that this looks good. There's also no doubt in my mind that this is not the end of a move as much as the beginning. So the worst case, like in this kind of thing where you're like, okay, it doesn't have to accelerate, but alternatively, it's probably just like a more of a drawn out consolidation. But the volume suggests it's not. Great eye. Enzyme looks good. Enough said. No need to over explain that. It just looks good. Thanks for sharing that with the squad today. Farming ICE FTM getting 200% APR and they're both going crazy. Schuler A1T, I think you get the award today for max DeFi yield. 200% on a pair where each underlying coin is going crazy. That's so sexy. Love that. Oh, feeling a little bit of jealousy now. A little bit of FOMO. More just happy for you. I don't have any FTM. I do have a bag of ICE, so I am enjoying that ride with you. I actually, okay, you know what? I'm in a similar situation. Not 200% APR though, but I do have a bag of AVAX and ICE. LPing. I'm LPing a little bit of AVAX and ICE, so that's cool. But yeah, it's not 200%. FTM yields, Spirit Swap, that shit's dope. I really should get over there. Oh, Ro. I still hold my SHROOM. What's it doing? Oh, cool. So the thing I was talking about with ALCX or whatever that coin was, Enzyme, I am doing that with SHROOM. Actually, because of Ro joking. He was in this chat, I don't know, way back when, like right around here in July. He's like, get some SHROOM. So since I listen to everything people say on the internet, I went and picked some up. I think it's actually up a little bit. I haven't sold it yet because it's like that plant a seed, small bag. And let's see, it looks pretty good here. This looks promising. Let's see if we can get another one of those. ICE FTM farm, yeah. FTM MIM, yeah. Yeah, like DeFi is dope, guys. I think in future episodes, I'd like to go over some actual DeFi. The problem with that is it takes a lot of setting up like a new wallet. Like I don't really want to sit here with all my accounts and just kind of put that out to the world. It's just kind of awkward. It's like, hey, come on in and watch me take a shit. Like it's just like a little bit private. So I think what we should do is maybe I'll set up like a MetaMask wallet that's just like right on MetaMask, no ledger, whatever, nice and simple. And then, put a few $100 in it. We can go play some DeFi on AVAX. Probably not going to do it on ETH because of the fees on stream, but yeah, I think we could fuck around and get into some of these strategies, how to fold using abracadabra. I still have never done that. So we could kind of, say walk you through it, but I'd mostly be walking myself through it while you watch. But we could learn about some DeFi and then guys can come in and be like, hey, this pool's dope or this strategy's dope or, fold this thing through Curve. Hopefully Curve on AVAX could do the thing. Really just have a thing for ETH fees right now. Trying to not pay any ever again. Yeah, SHROOM looks good. Look at that little wedge. Could have done that way cleaner. Shame. Yeah. Oh, damn. When you put it that way, SHROOM looks fantastic. So, lots going on in the market right now, guys. Bullish throwback on Bitcoin to previous all-time high resistance, or, close to all-time high. I feel like the previous all-time highs were around 60, and like, yeah, we went to 65 on Coinbase, but like the resistance was really below that. And so for what it's worth, we're at a key throwback level. And I'm here for it. I think Bitcoin taking its sweet time to go anywhere is just great news for what we really want to see, which is more altcoin juice. We are seeing altcoin juice. We are seeing FTM even higher than it was at the start of the stream. It is in price discovery. It's very exciting. And so my question is, when AVAX? AVAX says, I want a piece of that. I think AVAX is probably going to be over $100 in the next few months. So I have to be very aware of how I'm going to reposition myself in the kind of AVAX exposure I had before. I have some in LPs, I have some in spot, but I don't have much size. Certainly nothing to get too wet over. So I would like to, with this bullish structure reversal, this little pullback, like, can I get another one this weekend? Any kind of action in this level here. And I'm going to be back into some premium AVAX exposure, especially with things like FTM and ONE and everything making new highs. I think AVAX is overdue. So we'll leave it there. Because you guys know me, I could talk all day about charts, but I do have a family and I should probably go spend some time with them. Hi, honey, coming soon. So, yeah, have a good weekend. Trade safely, manage risk, and hop into the Trading Pit Discord if you can. And now my camera's fucking up. So much shit fucking went on this week that I honestly was like, is it a full moon? And then I looked, and like 2 days ago it was. I was like, something's going on. Something's weird. It's a lot of just people doing weird things. So now my camera's like, yeah, definitely a full moon, bro. Anyways, I'll fix the camera. I'll fix the internet. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thanks for coming out to watch the show. If you haven't yet, like us, subscribe to us, follow me on Twitter, randomtask555. And whatever you do from now until next time, always play from a position of strength. Take care.